Stay connected with Track Alerts TV by clicking that subscribe button and hitting the notification bell. You'll never miss a moment when we go live, and you'll always be the first to know when we post new and exciting content. But that's not all. Folks, show us some love by liking, commenting, and sharing our videos. Join our community of passionate sports enthusiasts, and let's support our favorite athletes together. So what are you waiting for? Click that subscribe button and become a part of the Track Alerts TV family today. It's time to take your love for track and field to the next level with the ultimate athletics experience.
Want reach? Advertise with trackalerts.com. More people are becoming satisfied advertisers building their brand online. We know it from start to finish. Trackalerts.com on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. Contact us today at info@trackalerts.com or 876-893-4157.
Keep apace with the latest track and field news from Jamaica, across the Caribbean, and around the world. It's trackalerts.com. There is just no other. Up-to-the-minute details, expert views, reviews, and interviews in photos, videos, and features. Track Alerts on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Track Alerts TV on YouTube. Trackalerts.com. From start to finish.
Advertise on our live streaming on Track Alerts social media pages, which provides the most prominent online viewership from track and field meets in Jamaica. Your products will be seen by our large audience in Jamaica, the diaspora, and across the world. Book your spot in our live stream for a very small introductory fee. Call or text us at 876-893-4157 or email anthonyfoss@gmail.com. Trackalerts.com from start to finish.
10.29 seconds for Johan Blake. An impressive run.
Hosting a function or event? Want it to be streamed live on Facebook, YouTube, or Zoom? iView 365 can help you. We specialize in sporting events, stage shows, funerals, concerts, conferences, church services, graduations, and many more. Call or text us at 876-893-4157 or email anthonyfoss@gmail.com. That's ANTHONYFOS@gmail.com.
Welcome to another Watchalong. This time it's a Rome Diamond League, or if you want to call it, the Golden Gala. Yes, the Rome Diamond League. And of course, we're just in time for the start of the women's 400-meter hurdles. And, you know, the women's 400-meter hurdles is on track just now. And, you know, let's see, so we can show you what we have three Jamaicans in Saman, Clayton, and Anjanette Knight. So the athletes, they're off and running. Based on the stagger, Rochelle Clayton on the outside, Cheyenne Saman on the outside in lane 6, Rochelle Clayton in lane 5, Anjanette Knight in lane 4. And Rochelle Clayton seems to be leading this one, coming off that final turn or that final bend, entering the straightaway. It's the three Jamaicans. Anjanette Knight now takes the lead. And Anjanette Knight continues to lead. Rochelle Clayton in 3rd. Cheyenne Saman in 6th. Anjanette Knight now pause across the line to take victory. The flash time is 53.67 seconds for Anjanette Knight. Big win. Trail along the backstretch. Close the gap at that 200 meters mark. And then coming into the straightaway, just entering the straightaway, she just pulled away. 53.67 is the official time given for Anjanette Knight. Rochelle Clayton, 54.31, I think. And a very beautiful way of celebrating from Anjanette Knight winning this one. She did well in the last one. She got the better of Rochelle Clayton in the last one. And again, you know, she showed determination to take this one again in style. Is Anjanette Knight. Very nice win. Jamaicans are looking good. And I think based on what we would have seen from Anjanette Knight this year so far, seems as if she means business. Both Anjanette Knight and Rochelle Clayton attended Veer Technical High School. Cheyenne Salmon, who was about 6, attended Hydel High School. And this is the official result. So very, very nice win here for Anjanette Knight in the 400-meter hurdles. And again, it's an event that's been dominated over the years by Sydney McLaughlin and Fenke Ball. So we're still, of course, waiting on our special guest to join us. Coach Vaughn is on his way home. So he will be joining us soon. So we're waiting on him to join us. In the meantime, let's show you, give you the full results of this event. Trying to... Okay, there you have it. The full result of the women's 400-meter hurdles. Cheyenne Salmon 17:56.55. Cheyenne Salmon 17:55.47. So the next event on the track will be the men's 1,500 meters. We're watching action from the women's pole vault. Let me run through some of these comments. So we're live. We're doing our watch along. Again, Winky Blue. You'll have to hop over to Flow Track to get to watch the event live. Junior Gregory, Flow Track has it live, or if you're in the Caribbean, it's going to be on the Caribbean channel. I know it's on Digicel and it's on Flow. Devana, we cannot show videos. We just do a watch along. We just tell you what is going on. We watch, we watch a race and tell you, what is going on. We are not allowed to show anything, and we just can't show anything. If you want to watch it, you'll have to go over to Flow Track. You'll have to subscribe, and there you'll be able to watch it. If you're in the Caribbean, you'll also be able to watch it on Flow or Digicel. So the women's 400 hurdles, that was the first track event of the live broadcast. That was the first event of the live broadcast. First track event, that is. Men's 1500 meters is on track next. So again, this is our watch along show. We are not able to show the races. We are just not able to show the races. Still waiting. As I said, the pole vault is currently going on. Of course, the Caribbean don't have any entry in the pole vault. About 10 Jamaicans are down to compete today. And we would have gone already. We would have seen the women's 400 meter hurdles. That's out of the way. If you want to know the next event that a Caribbean athlete will be in is, a matter of fact, Omar McLeod is coming up in the men's 110 meter hurdles along with Orlando Bennett. They are coming up in the men's 110 meter hurdles. And just to bring this up for you to see it, that's the start list for the men's 110 meter hurdles. The women's triple jump, that was on and may have finished. As you can see right there on the screen, Shanika Ricketts. And Shanika Ricketts with 14.64. She's the Olympic silver medalist. And in third place, also from the Caribbean, from Dominica, is Thea Lafond. She's the Olympic champion. She had a best today of 14.30. We mentioned that Kiri McLeod is also competing today. McLeod will be in this event. Men's long jump. And that men's long jump start list is on your screen. What event are you looking forward to see most today? Drop your comment in the comment section. If you have not yet subscribed to our channel, please do. This will help us to, do more, drop your comment in the comment section below. Let us have a discussion, and that is the reason for this watch along, so we can watch together and we can discuss. So this is the Rome Diamond League, or called the Golden Gala. You know, big shout out to all those following us, all those who are watching, all those who have subscribed and continue to be here with us. And we hear Josh is saying that I want to watch Toby Amuse and race. That's going to be tomorrow, Josh, in Kingston. She will run at the Racers Grand Prix. And as we mentioned the Racers Grand Prix, let us take a look what to expect tomorrow at the Racers Grand Prix.
Racers Grand Prix. Racers Grand Prix. Racers Grand Prix. Racers Grand Prix. Racers Grand Prix.
Racers Grand Prix is Saturday, June 7th.
So there you have it. Racers Grand Prix, Saturday, June 7th. The Clayton twins, Amuson, Kishane Thompson, Sherika Jackson. Those are Jamaicans, but you know, the African World Junior Champion will also be there. He's from South Africa. So, but today it's all about the Rome Diamond League, or the Golden Gala, as it's been called. Start list for the men's 110-meter hurdles. So June 12, which is next week, will be the Oslo Diamond League. And on June 15, the Diamond League moves to Sweden. And on the 20th, the Diamond League moves to France. And then the Prefontaine is on the 5th of July. So those are some of the events we have left. Men's 1500 meter is drawing to a close. Well, it may have ended already. We're just watching the replay. And what's the winning time is like. Let's wait to see. Very close finish. Let's see. That was a very, very close finish. And So remember I told you this event was so close. That's the men's 1500. And just gonna share with you the results and the reaction, because this one was very close. And it's good when you can have 1500 meter races that close. So this, and you can see why I said this was close, because that's your winner there. Basically saying, hey, I just got you. Habs 329.72, 329.75. And look there. Every single person in that race, well, not every single person, but the top 9, based on the results we are looking at, ran their fastest time this season in June. And then Isai in third with a personal best of 3:30.74. And then you have national record in fourth and national record in fifth. That was a competitive race. Men's fifth, women's pole vault may have just finished. So earlier today we are looking back on the women's triple jump. And Lafont was first up on the board. Perez now. Watching Perez with her jump. And now it's time for Shanika Ricketts. Long legs. And right up there, close to that 15-meter mark. Shanika Ricketts didn't get to the 15-meter mark, but, she did enough to win on the day. Yes. And it's a season best for her too. And the men's high jump would have happened earlier today. But So far, Shanika Ricketts, only Caribbean winner so far. As we said before, 1467, 1464. Let me say it again. Shanika Ricketts' winning mark was 1464. So you're watching the Rome Diamond League. Men's high jump had some Jamaicans too. Beckford 216 clearance. So just some replays of action earlier. Men's high jump. I'll tell you in a bit the positions for the Jamaicans. Men's high jump. That competition seems to still be going on. On track now. It's the women's 5,000 meter. Shebet. What does she have for us today? Let's go through some of your comments. But you are following the Rome Diamond League, and this is our watch along. And this is a good time for Coach Vaughn to join. Coach Vaughn, are you ready for us? Yes, Coach Vaughn is hearing. So let's bring Coach Vaughn on. How you the boss?
I'm doing all right. I'm trying to figure out this website, man, for this Golden Gala Rome leg of the Diamond League.
You're watching.
Yeah, I'm watching, and I'm also trying to get onto the website for the actual results. And I think I need to brush up on my Italiano because
Well, I just changed my result link to English.
let me see if I could do that, because I tried that earlier, and it says program results English, But then, all right, I think I could figure this out. Okay, that's the 400 hurdles. It says Donny. I'm gonna figure. No, I didn't figure that one out. Okay, here you go. All right. Yep. 400 hurdles is done. Girls got some season's best. All right, I think I figured it out, bro.
Okay, and coaches Dex is watching, you know, and Knight with a win. And as I mentioned before earlier before you came on, I was saying Anjanette Knight seems to be having a good year, fairly good year, and she looks good. Yeah, you maybe would have wanted to see those times a little bit faster, but she has been very consistent, and for Lori Dennis, I just want to remind you that we cannot show the races. We are not allowed to show the races. Winky Blue is saying, looking forward to the 100 meter, and of course, Josh, I mentioned this already, that Josh want to watch the Toby Amusan race, but that's going to be tomorrow in Kingston.
That's the Grand Prix races.
Yes. And Simon is picking or mentioning that Chebet and Omaniala race is the one, to look out for. Josh, thank you so much. What about Favor of Feely? I'm Nigerian. Big up Nigeria. Big up all the Nigerians who are watching. Big up all the Nigerian supporters of track and field and sports in general. I was watching, but the stream is gone. I'm watching on YouTube using an Australian link. Good day. Any women's 100 meter running today? Let me see what this schedule is like again. 100 meters for men is on the schedule and 200 meters for women. So the Diamond League, how they operate, if they're running the men's 100, they run the women's 200 and vice versa. I continue to go down a little bit where Robinson is saying, don't know who is doing this watch along, but we need some vibes. Yes, we take your comment into consideration. And really, we want to build the vibes, and the vibes must be built with those of us who are on this side and those of you who are in the comment section. Video, please. We can't. You'll have to go over to FlowTrack. You'll have to subscribe to FlowTrack. And we are not able to show it. Jones is saying, I don't understand. What was the score for the men's 120 dash? The 1500 dash? I don't think 1500 is a dash. And the triple jump.
Dash. The middle distance are considered dashes. 800 and 1500 dash.
Wow. There you have it. I was
not
thinking,
sprint, but
I was thinking one to go to 8. Then,
and they probably soon turn the 800 meter to a sprint because with the world record,
thank you, Gail. It's a 110 meter hurdles. That's coming up shortly. And Gail is telling us, unfortunately, in America, it's Flow Track Network. But I know they do charge a fee. I don't know how much. But we don't have a lot of Caribbean people at this Diamond League, this Rome Diamond League. We don't have a lot of people who, fans are expecting to set the place ablaze. Because when you look at let us look at the men's 100-meter start list. And I'm going to share this on the screen so persons can see what we're talking about. That's what the men's 100-meter start list look like. And of course, Trevon Brummel is running his way back into form. I think he ran 9.9 2 weeks ago. Ferdinand Omaniala is there. Courtney Lindsay is there. Fred Curley is there. And those should be the big ones. Omaniala personal best is 9.77. Lindsay personal best is 9.89. Fred Curley is 9.76. Brummel is 9.76. And the good thing is that every single person in this race would have gone sub 10. But then again, gone are the days when sub 10, when somebody get under 10 seconds, it used to be a big thing. Not anymore, Coach Vaughn.
No, because you have to remember, things have to progress. Because remember there was one time when 4 minutes in a mile was considered inhumane, humanly impossible, until Sir Roger Bannister did it. And after he did it, the next day somebody else did it. Then the next day, no, it's like a standard that you run sub 4 minutes for the mile, right? And I think that's just what was happening once Asafa came in and was repeatedly doing the 100 under 10 seconds. Then other guys jumped in, and of course, insert Usain Bolt, and the plethora of guys, the Tyson Gays, the Johan Blakes, etc. Once you inserted those guys, then it became the new standard.
Mm-hmm.
You see it all over, because even recently, even though wind aided, I think it was at the D2 or the regional championships, this football player at 9.75. I mean, the wind was 2.1 plus 2.1. It's still illegal, but 9.75. As you said, it's a standard now to be sub 10. But I think, though, even though it's a standard sub 10, you still see, and maybe this year's World Champs, we'll see where it takes 9.8 and you still finish about 6th or 7th, because 9.9 or 9.8 at times does give you a medal, right? But will it come to a point now where 9.8 is giving you out the medals?
Mm-hmm.
I think that's what is yet to be seen, because despite the trajectory of the times getting faster, the medal positions have still held firm at about 9.8, 9.9. So we'll see. But you were talking about the list of athletes that you have, and it's one of the questions that was posted about Grand Slam versus Diamond League. Who has the better talent, or will it split the talent? It's definitely going to split the talent, because Europe and North America are way hours apart.
Mm-hmm.
Days, miles, flights apart.
And nobody wants to travel there and have to be coming all the way back here.
Right. And then where's the World Champs going to be? China, right? So you factor all that traveling, it's not good. So I think that's why, both leagues will have some very good talent, but you won't have the best of the talent all in one meet, if that makes sense.
Yep.
And I think it's good to see Trayvon Brummel back. And yes, Lyles is recovering from an ankle injury. And I think the first sign of that was over at the Atlantic City Games, the Adidas Atlanta City Games, where he opted not to run because of the ankle. But one of the things I do like with Grand Slam, you had some good times, but Grand Slam does not focus on times, right? You're going to have good times, but it's not focused on times. Again, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So, with Lyles' injury, it kind of puts a spoke in everything because people are not going to see him compete for a while. And fortunately for him, U.S. trials has been put back. So now he has a little more time to plan his wedding. Right? Shouts to the future Lyles. Big and serious, big and serious. So he has time to recover and get some other things done at the same time. But it'll be interesting to see him back on the field, on the track, running sometimes. He did run a 400 about a month ago. We ran like a 45, I believe it was, 45.5. And
yes, he ran in Florida, yes.
There were people saying, oh, it doesn't look so good. Why does he want to run the 4x4? Does he run the 400? And that's something that, that's probably coming from someone who doesn't understand that Lyles was actually a quarter miler coming to the high school. And he ran against, I think he ran against that team, that Calabar team that ran the 303 that year at Penn's. And they finished, I think, third or fourth in that race because their other legs were very weak and shaky. So he couldn't leave it up to one person. But yeah, it'll be great to see him on the circuit. It'll be great to see him against Arian Knighton as well on the circuit.
Mm-hmm.
And Arian Knighton is another one you don't see too much of on the circuit. Let's see, is nursing an injury also. He finally came out and said, hey, I'm a little hurt. So let's just see what it is. The women's 5,000 is about coming to an end. They probably have a lap or two to go. I kind of lost it. Oh, the last 700 meters. Okay, so they have a lap and a half to go. So we'll see what that is. But it'll be good, guys. It'll be good to see these sprinters, with improvement. Anton, let me pick your brain. Let me pick the audience's brain as well. I thought the lineups and matchups at Grand Slam was good. I think the lineups here in Diamond League is good. With so many African countries now having a plethora of sprinters, distance runners, which they've always had, traditionally had, could there be an African version of the Diamond League or Grand Slam track? Do you think something like that would benefit the sport?
But let's take this in. This is the final lap, you said, of the women's 5,000 meters, and this is a huge lead. Chevette is a huge lead, and she may be leading by close to 200 meters, Coach Vaughn. She's on the back stretch.
Oh my goodness. I'm just looking up at it right now. That is daylights.
Yes, she crosses the line now to win in 14 flash time 14:03:69. And of course she celebrates a big win. The second place now is just crossing the line, and the third place a little bit behind, still just crossing the line also. So 14:03:69 is a meeting record, and that's a big win. And the second place was 14:19. 14:19. So that's by more than 15 seconds. The winning time.
A mile and a half in evening Brooklyn traffic takes you 14 minutes. This lady just ran 3 miles in 14 minutes.
And she still have time now to be going around and, congratulating all the other competitors, pulling some from the ground to their feet. While these athletes are all they laid on the track, they're all down on the track, and the winner who beat the field by some 200 meters, wish I could show this. Walking around and congratulating all the other athletes and pulling some to the ground, pulling some from the ground, I must say. It goes to show that she is going to be hard to beat. And it shows the strength of this athlete.
Mm-hmm. Now, Mark Beck in the comment section was saying that the 100 meters and 200 meters has not evolved since Usain Bolt era. There's just not the quality sprinter today. How do you respond to that, Anthony? I don't know.
Well, they're definitely not the quality sprinters we had. And even when Usain Bolt was running, what you would have noticed then at the time is that there were more sprinters running faster times then than we have now. Because I remember for the last 3 years, 4 years, the average time for world sprinters were just about 9.9 low. There were talks even the last, I think from as far back as the Tokyo Olympic Games, to the Paris Olympic Games, to the World Championships in between, that we're not gonna get a faster time or anything faster than 9.8 to win the Olympic or the World Championships.
Mm-hmm.
Gone are the days. Yes, Usain Bolt ran 9.58 in 2009. He didn't better that time. He had never even gone close to that time after that. But there were several other 9.6s and 9.5s, and not 9.5, 9.6s and 9.7s. There are a lot of 9.7s during his time. So yes, I don't think the 100 meters or the male sprinters are as competitive now and are running as fast now as they were 8-10 years ago.
I think it's a confusion. I think Mark is confusing the record and the standard, right? So the records are the records, because then are we going to say that women's sprinting has not evolved since FloJo? We can't say that.
We can't, because we would have seen just a couple of years ago, Shericka Jackson was very close to breaking FloJo's 200 meters record. We would have seen
breaking a record is not the new standard, right? To me, the standard is where most people are, right? The record is the record. And that's why I brought up the whole thing about women sprinting, because are we going to say now it's been 40 years that women's sprinting has not evolved? Women's sprinting has evolved, because never in our time have we seen so many ladies running 10.7s consistently.
Yeah, but a lot of times people focus on fast times and breaking records and use that to measure whether we're doing good or we're not doing good.
Mm-hmm.
I do understand. And yes, I can't blame them. But when you have a record like a FloJo, she's what? FloJo is 10, is it 10.49?
10.49 and 21 something.
Yeah, 21. So when you have those marks, and let's look at the 100 meters. At that time, not even FloJo herself had gone close to that mark again.
Right.
And if, I don't want to say if that wasn't, but it is, but take that, if you take that 10.49 out and put it aside, then the times running now would have proven to us that, hey, these are some really, really great times.
Mm-hmm.
Because that 10.49, once you take that, put that aside,
Hold on.
Good, competitively, we'll be right there. And we just see Beckford from Jamaica clearing 2.20 in the men's high jump.
Yeah, Beckford just cleared 2.20, still off his personal best. I would love to see this young man do 2.28, but he is tied in the first right now for in this round of the jumps. Yeah, so if you
and just before you say, I'm just gonna share that this is a live results on the screen. So as you would see, Beckford is right up there, joint first place.
Mm-hmm. So on the topic of the standard, for example, years ago in the NCAA, before the regional championships came about, and the regional championships came about as just a way to level the playing field and including more athletes in the actual championships. They used to have these qualifying standards, right? The records were set already, and then they have the standards set, and the standards were set based. The qualifying standards were set based on the performances, the collective performances the year before. So if you had a standard, let's say in 100 meters of 10.20 to qualify for the NCs back in the day, but in this one particular championship, everybody in the finals ran 9.9, and the slowest guy was 10.05. Best believe that next year, the qualifying mark to qualify for the national championships is probably going to go to 10.1, right? Whereas now, let's say that same year they run 10.1. Everybody's running 10.2, 10.3. Then the standard now to qualify into the meet is going to be slower. And I think World Athletics has moved the standard to reflect that the standard of each event has moved up. And so it's a harder mark to make now to qualify for certain events. Back about 15 years ago, it was like a 45.6 to qualify in the men's 400. No, it's 45 flat. And there's probably talks to bring it down to 44.9 or 44.8. So that's what the standard is. So when Bolt was running, he was beating everybody by a whole 0.2, right? And if you take 0.2, you're back at 9.7. But lots more guys now are running 9.7, 9.8. Whereas when Bolt was running, you had just the Tyson Gay and a handful of guys who are going to give you that time. Now you turn around at a high school meet, somebody just run 9.99, breaking Trayvon Brumman's high school record.
And you see, this is just one of those other discussion where there's no wrong or right. And as Beck is saying, not confusing the records, but just simply saying that collectively we don't have the quality we have in Usain Bolt era. And as I said, most people are going to use times to decide or to determine if we are getting anywhere or if we are better than where we were. In cricket, Dan Bradman retired with an average of 99.94, I think it was. And, basically saying he almost scored 100 runs per innings every time he batted. But, and that's the highest batting average by miles. But guess what? There was one Brian Charles Lara, the Prince of Port of Spain, who broke the world record for the highest individual innings twice. And his average may not have been more than a 50 something. There's Sachin Tendulkar, so we can go on and on. So there's no wrong or right when it comes on to, what people believe. If they believe, hey, the fact that people are not running as fast as Bolt, then we are not where we were when the GOAT was running. And, we just can't fight them on that. We can agree and disagree, but there's no wrong and right when it comes on to it, and of course, Atkinson is giving us a big up, telling fans here those who are watching to subscribe. You know, Gail is saying that I disagree with you because every race is different, and every race is different. And as I mentioned earlier, it's like a cricket where every pitch is different. You're not going to be able to score as much runs on this pitch that you probably would have on another pitch. You know, if you realize in track and field now, the bigger name athletes, you know, if you realize their running gear is different from the other ones. You know, these shoe company now, they are making, as last year was the Olympic year. If you realize Messiah Russell, she's in what they call their Olympic kit. So you're not going to see the athletes, those who didn't win the Olympic, in that color or that kind of kit. You know, Usain Bolt would have, you know, was big enough to get his own designer spikes and stuff like that. So, you know, spikes, running shoes is different. The tracks are different. You have tracks that are going to be faster than tracks, you know. And check this comment out again from Beck. It's telling us that 2012 London Olympic Games, you know, 963, 975, 979, and 980 for fourth. All quality sprinters. And yes, I do agree that take away that 958 by Usain Bolt. During that time, even though he wasn't being challenged, he wasn't being beaten, but there are other persons who were running the 9.7s and the 9.8s and the 9.6. Nowadays, we're not even getting a lot of 9.7s. You know, look on, as people would say, African sprinter Simbindi, you know, always have a good year, always fall short at the World Championships or the Olympics. But it's just time now to talk about another legend in the sport of track and field, and that's Kirani James of Grenada. He's on his mark in the men's 400, on track now at the Golden Gala or Rome Diamond League. Let's see what Kirani James, you know, Olympic champion, then world champion, then, you know, a hero from Grenada. They're off and running. And Kirani James isn't where you'd want to see him at this stage. They're just leaving the 200-meter mark, coming up on that final bend. And Kirani James seems to be out of it a little, but he's trying to come back now. I don't think that will be enough. 2-4-6. He may finish in about 6th position, and he does. 6th place for Kirani James now, just crossing the line. Hall seems to be a winner in flash time, 44.2. Let's see what time Kirani James, 49.22 for Quincy Hall of the USA. Quincy Hall, Kirani James. Not the kind of race he would have expected. And he's still looking on that scoreboard to see where he had finished. But your champion is Quincy Hall of the US. Did I say a champion? The champion of the Rome Diamond League, but your winner of the Rome Diamond League, Quincy Hall.
You know, Quincy has a never say never attitude. And the same way he won in the Olympics, he just won this race. He just never gave up. And to come up with 44.22.
And that was a very, very close race. A matter of fact, I would want to see this photo finish because Quincy Hall was second coming off that final bend.
Mm-hmm.
And then, oh no, we have to see this photo
Nah,
finish. This was very, very, very close. I can
I don't
tell
think
you
photo.
that.
I don't think photo finish is needed for this one.
This
I
was
think he
very,
got him.
very close, Coach
He got
Vaughn.
him, man. He
Very,
got him.
very, very close.
What was
Very,
second
very,
place?
very close.
They probably got
And
the
if,
same time.
and if you realize, the second
that's-
place finisher had celebrated. He said he started to celebrate. He said, "Hey, I got this one." He's still shaking his head. He's
No,
still
he got
shaking his head. He said, "No."
Quincy got him. I'm sorry, bro. Quincy got you. Quincy
And
got you
again, they're coming over and they're congratulating each other again. This was a very, very close one. I really, really would want to see the replay. Quincy 44-22, he got it. Just second place 44-23. But this was just too close for me not to wanting to see it from another angle.
I think from the angle I saw, it was clearly Quincy. Clearly Quincy, by a smidgen, which reflected 44.22 to 44.23, and they were probably both at 44.22, but the other guy was probably close to 44.23. That's why they rounded him up to 44.23. But it's a good mark. Olympic champion Gianmarco Tamberi, he's crashed out of the high jump at 2.16, and right now Matteo Scioli is in front with 2.23. Jamaica's Beckford is in second with 2.20. He scratched on that first mark, so we'll see if he could come away with a 2.23, and he dropped down to dropped down to third place in the rankings right now in the high jump. Rajendra Campbell with a big, massive throw just now, 21.36 meters.
Very good throw.
Yeah, he knows it. He's doing it. He's doing his dance. 21.36 brings him all the way up to third place in the competition. And also back to the high jump, Raymond Richards, the Olympic medalist, he's out. He didn't get past the opening height of 2.12 meters in that high jump. But he has 3 weeks to put it all together because the Jamaican Nationals are coming up in 3 weeks from now. What's the weekend of the trials? The 26th, or?
All I remember is the final. The final weekend. That's all I can remember.
The final weekend. As you see on the screen, 44-22, 44-23 for second place by Nene. That's South Africa.
And I, as I said, that race was just so close. And I just found the photo finish. And I'm going to put it up now for those who are watching to look and tell me, drop your comment, look on this photo finish and tell me this race, it was just too close.
Really very close, but it's definitely Hall. But Chebet won the women's 5,000 meters by 10 miles.
By donkey lengths.
Donkey lengths. As I say in Jamaica, donkey lengths.
Gil, the Jamaican goat, Usain Bolt, of course, he was insane. Starting with pen relays and one of a kind. But you have good sprinters and some excellent sprinters who medal or won. And that is so true. Hats off to Kim Collins. my good friend, represented St. Kitts and Nevis with distinction. Kim Collins. Different rules and regulation now because of high school athletes, collegiate athletes, internationally, and then professional athletes. Thank you very much, Gail, for your comments. We're gonna have to invite you to join us in studio for our next watch along. All in the game. I haven't seen him. You hear what I'm saying? I haven't seen him. I don't even know if all in the game, if it's a male or a female, but all in the game, wherever you are, big up yourself. Always been here with us. We are missing you this week. You always contribute meaningfully to our watch along. Men's long jump with Kieran McLeod. Kieran McLeod, big improvement from him over the last few years, and put himself as one of the best in the world. So the men's long jump, men's high jump, they are still going on. Kieran McLeod, Coach Vaughn, getting better and better every year.
Yeah, one of those athletes who's been there, been through the ranks of champs, been through the ranks of the NCAA, and continues to make a mark for himself. And I'm wondering how he's gonna place this year at the Worlds. But it'd be good to see. I don't know if he's gonna get a PB this year, but I would love to see him run like 100 meters or something. No lie. I'd love to see what he's like in 100. But nonetheless, he works hard.
Winky Blues is telling us the one on the inside looks to be the winner. And that's the same thing I'm thinking, Winky. The one on the inside, Coach Vaughn believes it's the one on the outside.
No. The inside lane is the lower lane, and Quincy had the inside. Let's say the one in the white.
Oh, Quincy had the inside lane.
Yeah, Quincy has the inside lane.
Yeah, so that's my bad, Coach Vaughn. I don't know why. All along I was thinking Quincy was the one on the outside, but that's my bad. So Quincy, all along I was thinking Quincy was on the outside. So yes, the inside lane definitely no. Because I thought that was
Beckford is doing another
person
attempt
given to second,
and he clears it. Beckford just cleared 2.23. So it would be interesting. Put up the photo finish between Lyles and Kishane. That would cause some controversy once again. That was something else because there is so much feelings about it that Kishane actually won. And if you guys recall, you maybe not as old as me, but it was the same thing with Linda Remigino and Herb McKinley. Then it happened again with Merlin Otti and I think with Gail Devers. And these things all happen at the Olympics. Wow. Wu Sangyek from is that Korea? He looks strong. Where's that Japan? I gotta double check where he's from. I don't know the flag like that. China is one of their son in the middle. I think it's Korea. Anyhow, so there's always that one where it comes down to inches, milliseconds, like they would say in Jamaica, the skin of your teeth. And mind you, your teeth doesn't have skin. So go figure that one out. I won't. I just take it for what my grandmother said it was. And if we saw that one more, all right? Said that lean. Which one? Which one did they share the gold medals? Gail. Which meet was that? And I can't recall a gold medal being shared on the track. But we'll see. You'll fill me in on that one because we're always here to learn and improve our positions here in the sport. Long jump is going on live. They got a 200 meters coming up next for women on track. Let me see if I could bring up that start list. Beckford is still very much into the high jump. He's been third with a season's best with a 2.23. And they're doing the lineup now for the 200.
Women's 200.
Mm-hmm.
So Mackenzie Long is there. Nice to see Mackenzie Long back in action after, just before her NCAA's finals last year. She lost her mom. She went on to the U.S. Nationals. She won. She didn't win, but she made the U.S. team, and she is an Olympian. And she's back this year, hoping to get over some of those broken heart spirits she had last year, and to do, this would be her first full season, and Talu Smith is there.
She has been running for centuries.
And you realize though that Talu Smith is running a lot less this year. She used to be running early, both indoors and outdoors. We have not seen a lot of her this year. Mm-hmm. So maybe, just maybe, she have something special for us this year. So she's doing things a lot different. Mm-hmm. But let's see what Mackenzie Long, have in store for us. The record 21.91 by Sherika Jackson, and the world lead is 21.88 by Julian Alfred.
Thinking out loud, that long jump pit is at a weird spot. It is right up against lane 1 at the 200 meter mark. So some of the sand is actually in lane 1 and 2. And I can't imagine doing a distance race or running around the track and then right beside me there's somebody up in the air.
So there you have it on the screen, because we're showing the live results where battle 1 and 1. But, just looking back at it now, Talu Smith led them off the curve until battle took charge. And then Mackenzie Long in third, just being edged out now. Talu Smith finishes third after leading them off the curve. Mackenzie Long didn't feel that she put a lot in this one, but no stopping your winner there, Anna Viva Battle. And you are seeing the live results on the screen as we
interesting observation again. No Jamaicans in this 200.
What's happening with the Jamaicans? We don't even see them in the
Grand Slam,
in the NCAA's sprints, or hearing of the Jamaicans, being one to watch for the sprints, and when it comes on to NCAA's.
And NCAA's is probably happening right now. I'll double check.
But we had the regionals last week. So I think they will break this week. Yes, I'm sure they will have to break this week and return next week for nationals.
And I'm doing a quick search right now to verify that date for the NCAA championships. You're correct. June 11th through 14.
Yeah, has to be next week.
Day 1 for the men's on the Wednesday, then day 1 for the women on Thursday, then Friday, we got the men's final events, and then Saturday, the women's final events from the 11th, Wednesday the 11th through June 14th over there at the Hayward Field, Tracktown, USA.
Yeah, so the NCAA is gonna be big. It's gonna be as I said, one of those events, thank you, Lester. One of those events that we're looking out for. Gail is telling us, it was a tie with Jamaica and Kishane. But they have to break the tie since they don't share the gold medal anymore.
I don't know. I never saw the tie. I saw it as a clear victory for Lyles.
Beck believes that, he honestly thinks Kishane got it over Lyles. But as I said, the women's 200 just finished, and we saw our winner, and we have what's the next event? The high jump, the long jump. Let's go to the live screen for the long jump. That's a live screen, and you can see Kiri McLeod in fourth position. I think that's after 3 attempts. 790, 77, 777, 773. And you're not missing out on anything.
Campbell now, Rajendra Campbell is now in second place in the shot with his last attempt, 21.64. The leader is at 21.89.
21.64 for Campbell.
Yep, he's in second place now.
And let's just pull that men's shot put list up on your screen. You said Campbell was what, 21, how much?
21.64 meters. Is currently in second place.
I think he's in third place now. So he's below 21.89 and 21.67.
Oh, that's weird. We're just through that.
Yes.
It's up on my screen now. Yep.
So this is another competitive event.
Mm-hmm.
We're really happy that the Jamaican is doing great things in this event. I know we won a bronze medal at the World Championships before in the shot put with O'Dane Richards, and to have Campbell now doing great things. The next event on the track will be in about 7 minutes with Omar McLeod running in the men's 110-meter hurdles. Let's see, the men's high jump is also going on.
All right, so Walsh's best is 21.89.
So Campbell finishes third.
Third.
I don't think he will lose that position. And in the high jump, Beckford remains at third. And again, Coach Vaughn let me thank, all our viewers, all those who are watching, whether you're watching from St. Elizabeth in Jamaica or you're watching from Sydney in Australia, the name of Brian Lara's first daughter, or you're watching from what's that, Johannesburg in South Africa, or you're watching from Tobago or Port of Spain in Trinidad and Tobago, or Kingston, what's it, Kingston, Kingston in Saint Vincent and the Grenadines, or if it's Kingston in Jamaica, big up yourself, big up yourself. It means a lot to us, and we will get better at doing our watch along, because we also need from time to time to invite some of
Woo.
our fans.
Hold on. Hold on. Campbell just had his last attempt, and they're checking it right now. Nope, 21.39, so he stays where he's at. Looked good. Looked good.
So that's a men's shot put. Very, very competitive these days. And
Very.
Jamaica with a medal contender in the shot put and the Olympic champion in the discus. Throwing is for Jamaican athletes. And Kira McLeod told us just yesterday that the field events is stepping up and must not be confused anymore or be looked down on anymore for people to believe that only the sprints is doing things. So it's really good to see. Still waiting on the start of that men's 110 meter hurdles.
All right, let's see what you got.
And then after that, Orlando Bennett and Omar McLeod. Omar McLeod is your 2016 Olympic champion.
McLeod. Yep. He went straight from winning at champs to winning in the NCs to winning at the Olympics. 3 seasons straight. Just win. You can't discount that.
Nope.
Yeah, I know Suella Bell. It's a little disappointing that Richards did not clear the opening height in that high jump, but a little bit of you would call it reprieve. We still have Beckford in the competition. He's yet to attempt 2.23. Let me refresh my page if anything has changed since. Oh, he went back to that. All right. So Beckford again hit 2.23. Now, if he clears 2.23 on the next one and Ciole Mateo does not clear it, or any one of the others, including Javon Harrison, then he will get into second place. Because Dorchuk right now is leading. Dorchuk from Ukraine.
And McIntosh is reminding us that tomorrow is a Racers Grand Prix, plus trials is a couple of weeks away. Hence, you wouldn't have seen any Jamaican sprinters here. And
Well,
Gail is saying that NCAA championships had international athletes. They competed for a trophy for the women's and a trophy for the men's based on the top university score. So,
but here's Omar McLeod. and Orlando Bennett at the meet. Let me tell you something. Jamaican athletes tend to hide away before the trials. They don't run enough during the season. I don't think they run enough during the season.
And there's a comment I put on the screen there, Coach Vaughn. Maybe it would be good for you to read that one, but it's coming from a very important and hardworking, dedicated, committed, qualified track and field official, or let me just say track and field coach. He would have produced several of Jamaica's talents. You know, he was head coach at Manchester High School when Elaine Thompson was there, when Sharon Simpson was there, you know, Natalia Gould, and I could go on and on and on. But before I go on and on and on, you would have seen on your screen, Coach, that Beckford moves into second with 2.26. And this is Coach Jerry Holness, you know. And you see, you know, Coach Holness always, you know, whether it's night or day, always tune in and supporting Track Alerts. And he would have supported Track Alerts in many, many other ways. Big up yourself, Coach. And he's saying, I am up at 1:53 a.m. following your program from Kerala. Well, I hope I pronounced that, Kerala in India. And
what is India right now?
Yes. And Coach Holness, you know, he's also coaching. He's coaching now, a part of the Indian national team coaching staff. So big up yourself, Coach.
Right.
Men's 100 meter on track, 110 meter hurdles, I must say. I don't know, 110 meter hurdles. Athletes are off. And Orlando Bennett on the inside in lane 2, McLeod in lane 6. And the Jamaicans are going to be out of the top 3. Bennett seems to be third, and McLeod may have been maybe about 6. And of course, Coach Jerry Holness was also McLeod's coach when he attended Manchester High School.
Ooh. Someone ate the track.
So Bennett was 4th and not 3rd. Bennett was 4th. And you may be seeing the screen moving, but it's
McLeod was given 8th place, it looks like. $13.14, a season's best for Joseph. Tinch also got 13.14. It was given to the Swedes, Joseph. I'm looking at a replay now. Watching from another angle. Ooh, that last one is something I couldn't call.
It was that close.
It was that close. That one I couldn't call because I think even Joseph didn't think he won. He thought that it was given to Tinch, but now he's looking at the camera saying, "Yep, I got it." All smiles. Tinch is like, "Come on, you've got to be kidding me." 13.14, season's best. McLeod with 13.58 for 8th place. And Bennett 13.29 for a season's best, running into shape for the trials coming up in a couple weeks. Come on, Thomas. Be nice. Be nice, Thomas. Tom's is saying that McLeod is on the Elaine Thompson retirement tour. Great champions. I don't know. His entire career, McLeod's career, seems to have kind of like gotten real shaky after I think it's that World Championships that he did, and I'm just not sure when he started changing coaches if that was part of the issue.
Well, you see, McLeod would have done many, many great things for Jamaica. He has been winning medal from character games for Jamaica. And even if he is not performing the way we or many expect him to, at the end of the day, he's not, I don't think, well, not that I don't think, but he's not taking anyone's space. And if he wants to run as old as Merlin Atty ran, then it's up to him. Because if he turns up at the Jamaica trials and he makes a team, then he is on the team. If he turns up there and he don't make the team, then he didn't waste anyone's money, or he didn't waste anyone's time. Now, many track and field fans believe that if you are not on top of your game again, then you should say goodbye or tata. But it's up to every single individual to decide whether or not they want to still be running. For football and team sports, it's kind of a different, because even in track and field, when it comes down to relay, which is a more team thing, even if you win the trials at age 37, the selectors can decide, hey, we're looking to the future, so it's best for us not to include you on the relay team, but we can't deny you your spot on the individual for your own lane in that men's 100 or women's 200 or whatever event you decided or you are running. So for me personally, run until you decide to stop. That is just my personal view. Run until you decide to stop. Asafa Paul chased that 100 sub 10 for a good while. Unfortunately, he didn't get it. Merlin Atty ran until she was close to what? 50? Matter of fact, she was still running, but at the masters level at that time.
No, I think she ran for another country.
Yeah, she did. Very close to 50, I think. And I'm not talking about masters. So for me personally, run until you decide to stop run. People say you and Blake need to stop. But why if he still enjoys what he's doing? And I said he's not taking anyone's space, and he's not costing anyone. It's not costing anyone any money. But
I hear you, Anthony, but there's a point at which you have to know when to let it go. Luton Fire was a football player, and I listened to Luton Fire on a podcast. I think it was G Cole, Homegrown with G Cole, and Luton said when he made the decision to go into singing officially was he was called out to be a part of the Reggae Boys team, and he was there doing his thing, and then he realized one day sports is an age group thing and he age out quickly, and so he made the transition to something that he could do for a long time. When we call the names of the Merlins, the Shellyans, and so forth, who actually in their later stages of it are still relevant, so to speak, those ladies are anomalies, right? And I think at a certain point, especially for someone like a Blake, your injury is a bigger factor for Blake. I know you're adding age onto that injury. He's going to run fast. Like you said, he's not going to take anybody's space, but he's going to run fast enough, probably get into the final trials, squeeze onto a relay team, and that's about it, right? But there is a point at which most athletes will do their personal between 24 and 26 years old. And if you don't do it by then, it's kind of like very hard to do it, and even to make a national team after that, for your first one, that is. So I think there comes a point where you should, look into it like, it's time to get out of here. The average in the three major sports in the U.S., the NFL, the Major League Baseball, and the NBA, those guys' average time as a pro is 3 years. Very few get to 5 years. And a very, 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 very small minority get to the levels of the Tom Brady's and the Emmitt Smiths and the Jerry Rices, who stay there for over 10 years. It's a very few people. But as you said, I can't stop the man from doing what do it himself. But here comes the time.
And as I said, as long as you're not taking anyone's space, because I'm just saying, if Ewan Blake turns up at trials and finish third, you need to carry the man go run because him turn up and him qualify. If him turn up and him finish fifth, you don't have to pick him on your relay team or as part of your relay squad because you can say, hey, we are looking to the future. We are looking to get youngsters as part of our relay team that will be around for the next 10 years. But if the man finished third, the man earn him spot. And if those who are younger than him want him to come there and beat them, then that's up to them. And of course, it's up to the starters now for the men's 100 meters. And of course, after this men's 100 meters, that's where we'll end our live coverage for today. You know, after that, it will be the men's 1500 meters. I don't think we'll have enough time to stay with you for that. But the start list or the live page will be on your screen, and that will be a little bit faster than what we're watching live. So you will see the results comes up. And I think it's very important, Coach Vaughn, for us to put the results, the live results on the screen. So as soon as the athlete cross the finish line, then the results will flash up and you will know who won the race. Mm-hmm. You know, so you don't even have to wait on me to attempt or to try to do any form of commentary. But the men's 100 meters, who will it be? Will it be Fred Curley? Will it be?
I give it to Bromell.
Bromell. You know, Bromell just coming back after what? After 2 years?
Yeah.
And around 9.9. Let's see what he has in store for us in this one. You know. So it's
give it to Bromell. So far in the live, it looks like Bromell is still leading in the finish. We got Bromell on the top. Officially. Yep.
And I know Curly will not be happy with this one, but they're off from here. Bromell is out running, leading at the midway mark. Curly is not even close to Bromell, and Bromell takes it. And of course, as you mentioned before, is this our world lead? Is this our world lead? The flash time 9.84. We can say Bromell is back
with a world lead.
Bromell is back 9.84, and he's still raising his hand, thanking the Lord for taking me through all of this and back. World lead for Bromell. Still can't believe he's hitting the track with his right hand. And happy man, happy moment for this man. He had gone through the pain and the suffering, and he came back, opening his season with 9.9 and now 9.84 for once a dominant sprinter, not only in US track and field, but in world track and field. And he was out like a bullet. And Curly was nowhere near Bromell. Omaniala on the outside struggled to keep up pace because he was beaten from the blocks. But I think Omaniala, but I was thinking he was second, but the results said he was actually third. Omaniala. So take nothing away from your winner, Trevon.
And Sandy Brown is also struggling this season so far. kid from Japan. He's been struggling all season, but he's dropped his season's best down to 10:32.
So it's up to the Racers Grand Prix in Kingston tomorrow, where some good sprinters will be on show. What will they have in store for us? I am not sure, but we will definitely see, because Kishane Thompson will be there, and your world junior champion out of South Africa will also be there. Sometimes I don't even remember the young man's name, but he will be there tomorrow, and this is the results from the men's 100. There you see Brummel on your screen, happy. And I think everybody, once you're a lover of track and field, you will be happy for this man who has been through the pain to get back, open your season with 9-9, and to come to the Diamond League now and to get a roar lead in 984. Hats off to this man.
And in the high jump, it looks like Beckford is out at 2.28, but leaves with a season's best 2.26 for third place in the men's high jump.
There you have it. And we mentioned earlier, in closing now, Coach Vaughn, Shanika Ricketts won and this is Shanika Ricketts. We showed the high jump earlier. She won the triple jump, and the mark is right there in front of you as to the performance by the Olympic silver medalist, Coach Vaughn, Olympic silver medalist.
Yes, nice.
So Ricketts won the triple jump, a season best 14.64, and earlier in the day, with a beautiful smile and a beautiful pose on your screen, was the winner of the 400-meter hurdles, Anjanette Knight, in 53.67. And as you mentioned, that in the high jump, Beckford cleared 2.26, and that's where he ended his show. And in the shot put, we had a 21.64 from Rajinja Campbell. And as we said before, the men's long jump is still going on. And before we leave, we'll let you know that Kiri McLeod still sits in fourth in that men's long jump. But outside of being Jamaican, the highlight of the day would have been sprinting highlight, must have been Brummel out of the United States of America, winning in a world leading 9.84. Haven't been competing the entire 2024. And then in the 5,000 meters, Chevet won by over 200 meters. And this is a Golden Gala, Rome Diamond League, Coach Vaughn. And it looks like that's where we will have to leave it. It was nice to be here with you, our wonderful followers and wonderful supporters of this channel. It really, again, was our pleasure bringing or keeping you up to date. Again, unfortunately, we are not able to show you the races, but we keep you informed. We discuss the event of the day and other events with you during our watch along. Thank you very much again for joining us, and do remember, come back the next time we do it. Thank you. All the best for the rest of the day.